Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Kayla Lords.
John Brownstone.
Of Loving BDSM, where we help kinksters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. We're back with another 5 things you ought to know. Real basic, great for if you're just getting into a concept or trying to figure a thing out. That's what these tips, 5 things are. And somehow, yet again, a big topic in our lives, and we're just now doing it after all this time. We're talking about sadism and masochism. Let's define it before we get into it. Sadism is the enjoyment of another's pain. Inflicting it, witnessing it, causing it. John Brownstone is a sadist. Masochism is the enjoyment or pleasure of receiving pain in all kinds of different forms. Hi, I'm a masochist. That's sadism and masochism, often called S&M, 2 of the 4 letters of BDSM. And there's a lot of misconceptions about it, and some of these 5 things you ought to know will hopefully debunk some of those misconceptions. If this is a topic you want to dive deeper into, we have done an entire podcast episode about our experience with it and how we see it, and I will link that in the description box below so you can do a deep dive. Let's start dropping some knowledge and debunking some stuff about sadism and masochism.
Okay. Number 1, S&M isn't required for BDSM.
Look, just because it's in the acronym and as part of it doesn't mean you've got to do it. If you are not a sadist or masochist, you don't want to give pain, you don't like to receive pain, it's not for you. You're still kinky, you're still into BDSM, you're into BD maybe.
The 4 letters are interchangeable. You can pick and choose your letters.
Exactly. But, and here's a personal pet peeve. And I see this mostly online, mostly from sex toy retailers, even though I know that it's a little bit of an old school thing too. Too many people use S&M interchangeably when they're saying BDSM.
True.
And the problem is that gives the impression that to be kinky or to be into BDSM, the S&M have to be a part of that. Not true at all.
Nope.
Is it sort of common? Probably. Pain is one of many sensations, and a lot of what we do can involve pain. High impact play is a big one. Wax play, another one. But there are a lot of reasons to enjoy that kind of play, to try that kind of play, to engage in it, that don't have to do with sadism and masochism. So they are not the same thing, even though they're used interchangeably, and you don't have to be into S&M to call yourself kinky. Simple as that. Okay,
number 2. Not all pain has to be physical.
So when we talk about pain, we do tend to talk about you've hit me with an item and I've gone, ow, that hurts. But that's not the only pain there is. Erotic humiliation, something that we are also into, can be absolutely a form of sadism and masochism.
Yeah, mindfucks, which we did a...
You love a good mindfuck. And
do.
it is a little bit like being a worm on a hook and twisting and writhing. And there's a lot that goes into mindfucks, but part of it is pain.
That's because I used to be such a good fisherman back in the day.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I would say a mindfuck is, for me, on the receiving end of it, the pain of the unknown, meaning, is the thing you're saying to me really true, really going to happen? How do I feel about that? Am I both... excited for it and dreading it? Also, what if it's true? Also, what if it's not? It's a type of torture. A mindfuck is a type of torture.
Yeah.
It requires no actual physical touching of the body.
None whatsoever.
No toys.
Touch the mind.
It is. Erotic humiliation, you will sometimes call me just awful names, and I'm like, oh yeah, more of that, please. Within context and within negotiated boundaries, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you don't want to be hit with anything, you don't want to feel hot wax on your skin, but you kind of like the mental sort of torture aspect of things, you can still consider yourself a sadist or a masochist.
Number 3, you don't have to like giving or receiving all forms of pain to call yourself a sadist or a masochist.
That is so true. I used to question my masochist street creds because I don't want you to beat me till I'm bloody and crying and a lump on the floor. Thanks. I like very narrowly defined types of pain. And anything outside of that, I have to then decide, is this a one-off? Can I accept it? Or is it, no thank you? Is it, I get it away from me? Is it, are we safe wording out? Like, those are the kinds of things I have to decide outside of my definition of acceptable pain. You're a sadist. Are there forms of pain you will not inflict, that you're not comfortable with?
I have my boundaries and limits just like everybody else. For me, needle play, knife play is not something I want to indulge in. I know there are many people who love it, partake in it. For me, it's not my thing.
Right. I can't imagine you willingly coming at me with a massive paddle and beating me until I'm bloody and bruised. Some people are into that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not judging it, but I can't imagine you doing it.
If somebody were to want that,
maybe you.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I can't imagine it with me. So you learn new things all the time.
there you go. See? Brings us to number 4. Sadists aren't always doms. Masochists aren't always subs.
To be a sadist is to top. To be a masochist is to bottom. So if you happen to be a dom and a sadist, like John Brownstone, great.
Yeah.
But we absolutely know some people who are definitely submissive in their relationship, and they are sadistic as hell.
Yeah.
They will torture you
Yeah.
willingly, gladly, consensually.
And see, this is one misconception that I see a lot. You know, if you're a sub, you have to be a masochist. If you're a dom, you have to be a sadist.
Yeah.
I have known many people who are in power exchanges. There is no S&M involved whatsoever. Right. I've known people who are sadists and who are masochists. Masochists who don't have a submissive bone in their body.
Right. No, are not interested in a power exchange at all. They want the play. They want the sensation.
Yes.
They want what they get from that exchange with the other side of that slash.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
You could
not
be
a
one, you
one-to-one.
could be the other, you can be both, but there's nothing that is defining that you have to be one or the other.
Exactly. And let's remind folks out there, you can switch. Just like you can switch between dom and sub, you can switch between sadist and masochist. Because it's about what turns you on, it's about what intrigues you, it's about what's fun to you, it's about what's enjoyable to you. And there are absolutely spaces where with one partner or in one headspace, you're the sadist and things flip a little bit and now you're on the receiving end. It is no different from dom sub in that respect. So yes, you don't have to do it at all if you're in power exchange, and if you are into S&M, you don't have to be in power exchange, and also the roles don't automatically correspond. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, brings us to the 5th and final. Consent is required.
So I hate that we have to say this every time,
No.
but it feels like we have to say it every time. It should be
There's reminding.
the unspoken truth that we
Yeah.
all agree to. Here's the thing. If you enjoy causing pain for a partner, yes, you are sadistic, but if you are willing to do it without their consent, you are also abusive. It's that simple. It doesn't make you less sadistic. Quite frankly, the bad rap that a lot of sadists get is that they are power hungry and abusive and awful people because they are gaining pleasure from inflicting discomfort of some sort. The dividing line between abuse and a relatively safe, healthy kinkster
is a safe word.
Is consent. It's
Yeah.
the fact that you negotiated it, the fact that you're playing within predefined boundaries,
Right.
the fact that you respect whatever your method is to stop all play, you respect it. You, as a sadist, have stopped us from playing when you thought things were going too far.
Correct.
Or if I'm not able to communicate with you and tell you how I'm feeling or where I'm at, you will stop and will not inflict any more pain.
Exactly.
That is the
Scene
difference
comes to an end.
between an abusive sadist who probably should be in jail, thanks, and a safe, kinky person who is also a sadist. And it's that simple. So as long as there's informed, enthusiastic consent, you're
Yes.
doing okay. And informed means you do understand the risks you're undertaking as the person having a thing done to you and also the person doing the thing unto others. So consent is required. We'll keep saying it.
Risk-aware consensual kink.
Yes. And when you're playing with pain, it is very important to know what the risks are. We have talked about safety many times in the past. We talk about safety whenever we talk about specific kink play, like impact play. You have to do your research and learn about that before you jump into the deep end of like any serious play. You can play on the light end of, oh, how do I feel about calling you a name that you said I could call you? Okay. But once you start like hitting each other with implements or sticking sharp objects into somebody's body or pouring hot wax on them, you've got to do your research both sides before you start playing so that you know what you're consenting to.
Yep.
Okay, have I lectured enough? I mean, I could keep going. I'm known.
I think you're fine
for ranty lectures.
This is supposed to be a short video, not a long version.
I know. We got the long version. I'm pretty sure I ranted in that one. So these are some things to just keep in mind if you're dipping your toes into sadism and masochism. If you are terrified of it because you believed a bunch of myths and misconceptions about it. Hopefully we've debunked a few of those for you. If you yourself are sadistic or masochistic and have other tips or things you wish people understood about it, drop those in the comments below. Reminder, if you want to deep dive on this subject and hear all the things we think about it, most of the things we think about it, many things we think about it, we do have a longer episode, and that is also linked below. So that's it for us this week. If you enjoyed this, please give us a thumbs up. If you like it enough to want to come back for more, please consider subscribing.
And then ring that notification bell to get and then ring that notification bell to get updates of new content.
Sure, just do what Daddy says when he can say it. And if you want to help us do what we do, get content you're not going to get anywhere else, all that good stuff, you can join us on Patreon, patreon.com/KaylaLords. Bye.